today is Goldie Tom. Goldie, thank you so much for being here. Goldie is an entrepreneur and business owner herself. She's a proud owner of Goldie Studio based in Gallup, New Mexico. She is a makeup artist, a licensed cosmetologist, hairstylist, and so much more. Thank you, Goldie. Let me let you take it away.
Hello, everyone. Yate Bene. My name is Goldie Tom. I am currently coming at you live from my studio. I am located in Gallup, New Mexico. My salon is called, well, I'm not calling it a salon because it's more than a salon. There's going to be, I have a lot of vision and ideas for this space that I have, and it's called Goldie Studio. So I didn't want to put myself in that category of just being a salon only, because I want this a space where artists in this area or people who are traveling through can, take part in using this space for whatever it is, creativity, for photography, for like most recently, we've been doing auditions here, auditions for Dark Winds, people in the area. We've been hosting them here and helping them with their auditions. So it's just more than just a salon. So with that being said, let me just kind of go back to the beginning of my journey. And I believe my journey started when I was 4 years old. Reason being is because when I was about 4 years old, my mom told me that I had told her when I was that young that I wanted to be a cosmetologist when I grow up. And she said the only thing she could think of was, that's such a big word for a little girl. And she says, that's all I thought of at that time. And she said, but now, that you're older and you're here and going to school and you're doing my hair, it's like you fulfilled that dream of, wanting to be a cosmetologist when you were only 4 years old. And it was pretty, I guess you could say it came full circle at that time when I was going through school. And I was in shock that my mom told me that story. But from the time that I was 4 to the time that I was in high school, and then the time that I actually became a cosmetologist, it wasn't the path that I selected when I was a little girl. When I was in high school, it stayed with me, and I knew that I still wanted to be a cosmetologist when I got out of high school. I shared with a family member of mine, and this is like a very close family member of mine, that I wanted to be a cosmetologist when I get out of high school. And that family member looked at me, laughed at me, and told me, you'll never make any money as a cosmetologist and you'll always be broke. And it shook me to the core. And I was just so devastated, like, wow, okay, well, I guess I'm supposed to make money to be happy. And after that, I just thought, okay, well, I need to go to school for something that's going to make me money, But I already knew that I hated school. I did not like school. I didn't like studying. I didn't like reading. I didn't like doing homework. And I already knew that about myself. And I knew that I was creative, and I knew that I liked to do things with my hands. I knew that I was a people person, and I love talking to people. And so it was very difficult for me to try to figure out like what I wanted to do. So I went to school for early childhood development. I went to school for communications, for liberal arts, and I just couldn't do it. I was just so unhappy being in those classes. And, they tell you to take your prerequisites and all these classes that you need to take to get to where you need to be. But it's like, why do we got to do that? And of course, it's just a money game. But I was just so frustrated, and I thought, forget it. I'm not going to go to school anymore. I'm just going to start working. So I got into working, and I started, by this time I had already left home and I was living on my own with my partner. And I went to work for just a whole bunch of different places in town. I worked as a barista, as a bartender, cocktail waitress, retail manager, food service manager. And I was also a DJ for 99.9 and 106.1 here in Gallup, New Mexico. These are local radio stations. And that was a really fun job. I loved it, but it became corporate. So I wasn't able to control my show anymore. And I had just this set list that they gave to me that I just kind of had to work with. So that was very frustrating. And it's funny about that too is when I would meet people, they would be like, "Oh wow, you're Navajo." So I thought that was hilarious because I think people thought that I was either Mexican or a white girl, or I don't know. I guess they like finally putting a face to the voice was like shocking. And so it was really fun. I really enjoyed that. But I think I only had worked there for about 3 or 4 years as a radio personality, and then I was out. I said I can't do this anymore. I don't have control over my show, so I'm done. So that was really fun. And then the job that I hated the most, I was actually working for my grandma. She ran a home care company here in Gallup, and she had a really hard time keeping a receptionist. So she had asked me, like, "Will you, be my receptionist until we can find someone?" 2 years later, I was still working at this place as a receptionist. Oh my gosh, I hated it so much because all I did was sit there all day and not do anything, just answer the phones. And we always had snacks for the elders that would come into the office. So we had like cookies and coffee. We had to have like a constant supply of cookies and coffee at the front. And it was just right there. So I would always like go over and grab a cookie and eat it and drink coffee or tea. And I gained some weight while I worked there. It was not good. But it was an experience, and I just knew that I hated working in an office, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And it's funny because like my grandma, she couldn't separate me being an employee from me being her granddaughter. So sometimes she would like scold me in front of everybody at the office meetings. And I'm like, "Okay, grandma, I'm your coworker. You can't do this to me." But you can't tell that to your grandma. But so anyway, I told them, I was like, "I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. I have to do something. I need to figure out my life." And finally I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna go to school for cosmetology. And um I literally said, F it, I'm just gonna go to school for cosmetology. That's what I wanted to do a long time ago. And I don't know why I'm wasting my time trying to figure out like what I'm gonna do with my life. And I thought, I don't care if I'm gonna be unhappy. I don't care, or I'm gonna be broke. I don't care if I'm not gonna make any money. At least I'm gonna be happy. Um, so I did, and because I didn't do so well when I had left school the last time, I had fees that I didn't pay, so I had to pay for those, and also hard to get that paid for. So I was able to get back into school for cosmetology. And so my partner, he told me, just go to school, don't worry about paying the bills. I will take care of everything. Just worry about school. So I was like, okay. So I went to school, paid all the fees that I needed to pay. And if you guys don't know this, cosmetology school is expensive. I had no idea how expensive cosmetology school is or was, and it probably still is. You have to get your books and then your workbooks, and then they give you like this huge bag of supplies, and everything that's in there are your hot tools, like your blow dryer, your curling iron, your flat iron, your perm rods, your water bottles, combs, brushes, everything is in that kit. And so that kit costs about $2,500 to like $3,000, somewhere around there. And because I didn't do so well in my past classes, I wasn't eligible for like the maximum amount of the Pell Grant. So I had to come up with like $3,000 to pay for that kit. And I was just like, oh gosh, but I didn't know this until like later. So let's backtrack, sorry. So I got into school, and so when I got into the very first day of class, my peers were still coming in. We were about to get started. The instructor was sitting at her desk and she was preparing for the class. And I just remember sitting there at the front of the class, just ready. And I remember looking at the clock and it was like 5 minutes to 8. And I remember just thinking to myself, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I should have been a long time ago. And it just, a complete contentment came over my body. And I just felt so happy. And I had not even, this is like the first day of class. Like I haven't even introduced myself to anybody. I didn't know the instructor. It was just, I just knew it at that moment. And so fast forward like a week later, they told me that I needed to get my kit because if I didn't, then I would be kicked out of cosmetology school. And I thought, shoot, what am I going to do? And I believe everything has happened by the grace of God, why I'm here today. Because when I think about it now, he made everything happen the way it was supposed to happen. And I believe that in every single day of my life that things happen for reasons and the way it's supposed to happen. And so I met this girl in the class and she said, I know that you are looking to get a kit. She says, but I'm not able to take the class. And she says, I will sell this kit to you for $200. I freaking blew, like my mind was so blown. I was like, yes, I need to, I will buy it from you. And I didn't even have $200 at that time because I had quit my job and I was just only going to school. And that's all I was going to be doing. So I didn't have money. I didn't even have $200. And to this day, I don't even remember how I gathered $200 together to get that kit from her. It's so amazing. And I think about it now and I just think, thank you, God. Thank you for being there for me and supplying that money for me, however it was that I got it. And after that, it was just like, I wanted to get done with school. I wanted to just, because with cosmetology school, they count your hours, like how many hours you've been in school. I think you have to get like 1,600 hours. And over the course of 2 years, that's when you accumulate your 200 hours. And that's like the length of time for the program here in Gallup. And I went to school at Gallup UNM. I forgot to say that, but I went to school at Gallup UNM here. And they have a cosmetology program. So the program is 2 years, but I did it in a year and a half because I was so determined to just get through school and get out there. And because I had already been living my life outside of high school, there were a lot of high school students in my cosmetology class, and I could not with high school students anymore. And so I was like, I need to get out of here because I can't do this with these high school kids. No, they don't know anything about life yet. So I did it in a year and a half. I went to summer school, and that was fun. I had a really good time. And what's funny too is that during the time that I was going through school for cosmetology, I was also competing for powerlifting competitions. And during that time too, I was like waking up like at 4 a.m. making breakfast burritos, and so I could pay for my powerlifting fees. So I just had a lot going on during that time. But after I finally graduated from cosmetology school, my career as a cosmetologist completely took off. I think it was like maybe 6 months into my career. I have a friend, he's a fashion designer, and he said that he had a show that he was going to do in New York. And he said he wanted me to come with him so that I could do hair and makeup for his fashion line. And I thought, I just don't want to do hair and makeup for you only. I was like, is there a possibility that I could become a part of the backstage team? Is that, he's like, well, here's the info. So I reached out to the program manager or the events manager. And that's how I got everything going. And I got in contact with the creative management for the backstage hair and makeup team. And that was cool because I was able to get on to the backstage team with all the other hair and makeup artists. So I just wasn't going to be there for just that one designer. And he was like, this is a great opportunity. Yes, go ahead and do whatever you need to do to get on board, but I'm going to leave that up to you. So I did that. And I was just so determined to just get my foot in the door. Because like I said before, that I worked at all these different places, like just dead end jobs. And I just felt like I needed to get ahead. Like I felt like I was behind. And so what I did was I made sure that I stood out. So what I did is I wore all my turquoise jewelry. I made my face up, and just at the time I didn't have a whole lot of turquoise jewelry, but I had enough. So I loaded that all on, and I just wanted people to know that I was different, so I could stand out. And so I was the first one there, and I was the last one to leave. And I was always there with the creative management team leader. And I was always asking her, what do you need help with? And I even like ran out and got her food and brought it back. And I just went above and beyond because I wanted her to see me, and I wanted her to see me as somebody who can work hard. And so before the night was over, she told me, thank you so much for being here and helping. I could not have done this without you and Beth. And you were awesome. And she says, and I want to extend an invitation to you to come back next fashion week. So we did spring fashion week, and then fall fashion week was coming in September. So I had from February to September to plan for my trip to go back to New York. And after that, it just like connection after connection started happening. And I got into Miami Swim Week, LA Fashion Week. I've been to Seattle, to Montana. I've traveled nationally and internationally, and I've gone to Paris also to do hair and makeup for fashion shows all over the place. And it's just like being in those settings, like you figure out how to network with certain people, and you work. Like I never wanted to be, and I never thought of it this way either, but you know how like now people are they're only convenient, or they're only Navajo or Native when it's convenient for them. I didn't want it to be like that, and I never thought of it that way, but like I always wanted to be my work to speak for itself, rather than just me being like, oh, Goldie's a Native makeup artist. No, Goldie is not a Native makeup artist. Goldie is a makeup artist who happens to be Navajo, who happens to be Native, or she's a business owner, Native business owner. No, she's a business owner who just happens to be Native. So I didn't want that to be like the forefront of, who I am and what I do, because yes, that's a part of me, but I'd rather in this industry, my work speak for itself. And that's just how I wanted it to be. And it's been like that ever since. I also got into the film industry, but how I got into that was totally different. So before I even went to school for cosmetology, I used to be a background actor. I used to be an extra in like different movies here and there that were happening in New Mexico. And I would just submit my stuff. And it's kind of like almost a guarantee that you're going to be an extra in a movie. And they don't call it extras anymore. So like the correct terminology is background you're a background actor. So that's what I was doing. And then I thought, it'd be so cool to get into hair and makeup. And that was just always with me. That always stayed with me, that it was in my heart that I knew that I wanted to do hair and makeup at some point in my life. And I had talked to the ladies backstage that would do my makeup. And it was just like really minimal with makeup, but it was just awesome sitting there in the hair and makeup chair. And I thought, this would be so cool if I could do this. And when I went to cosmetology school, I thought, like, cool, I can do this for a certificate, a license to back me up that says, I know how to do this. And so after, and the application is pretty much the same when you decide that you want to, be a part of hair and makeup for film. So I did that too. I just submitted, and people always ask, like, how did you do it? It's just, you have to go out there and you just have to submit and, put applications in everywhere. And that's what I did. Like, I put applications in everywhere to to be in these positions. And the worst thing that they can say to you is no. That's it. But it doesn't change any part of what you're doing, because you're working towards your dream anyway. So, because even if they say no, you're still going to be working, you're still going to be doing what you're doing. It doesn't change anything. But when they do say yes, you have to put on the best show of your life and work so hard. But for me, it's not work. It's not work because I love everything that I do in this industry. Everything that I do. God has blessed me with amazing talent so that I'm able to bless others and help them feel good about themselves and help them to get that self love back for themselves. And I have so many stories of my my clients who have just shared different stories with me. And those are things that, I feel like I'm blessed with too, that my clients are able um, to have enough confidence in me and enough trust in me, not only just for their hair, but with their stories that they share with me. And this job isn't just doing hair, it's not just doing makeup. You're in somebody's life on another level. You're touching them personally. It's a very personal experience. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to overcome that fear, or that what that family member said to me, because it was deep inside of me, and it just derailed everything for me. And I just didn't know, like, what should I do? It was like this money was the source of, like, you have to make money. And it really hurt me and it really set me back, but I had to overcome that. And even though it was just like of course, it's like a quick response, when when you're older, you're mature, what life is. And it's just like, those are just things that you just say because you don't want that person to struggle. I understand that. But your words have power, and that family member's words had enough power for me to stop my life at that time. And I went so many years trying to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I already knew what I wanted to do, but it was really difficult for me to finally just say, I'm just going to go to school for cosmetology. I don't care if I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life. But now that I'm in this position where I've done so much in my life and in my career as a cosmetologist, it's like that I feel like, oh, the other thing too is I actually had to go back to that family member and I told them, remember that time that you said this to me? And that family member said yes. I don't know if they really do remember that time, but I had to go back and I had to tell them, I need you to take back what you said, because I feel like that's hindering me from excelling and moving forward in my career. So they apologized and they told me, I'm sorry, I didn't, I guess I'd never thought that it made you feel that way. It was just that I knew some, um, your auntie, I knew that she struggled being a cosmetologist. I knew that. So, and I didn't want that for you. So anyway, um, got over that. And after that, I feel like that curse was broken. And everything started happening for me, getting into film, getting into fashion, just excelling and going beyond um, what I guess a normal uh, cosmetologist does. And that's kind of like, I almost fell into that too, where I was working in different salons here in Gallup. And every salon that I had ever worked in was terrible. It was so, because this industry is like full of women. It's like women dominated, and women are not nice to other women. Surprise. um, but I also had to overcome that too. I had to overcome, the the bullying. I think that's really what it was. It was bullying. It was because I would take time off and I would go do these fashion shows, I would do these films, and I would come back and work in the salon, and the things that people would say is like, must be nice, and I'm like, it is nice. and for me, like, I want to bring people along on this experience and this journey with me. So what I would do is I would like post it on Instagram or Snapchat and Facebook as much as I could, because I knew that, there was a little girl like myself that was at home, and I had wished that I had traveled all over the place. And I wish that I could see someone doing that. And so I would just, post these videos and pictures of, being backstage or being behind the scene and on a movie set. And, people would come up to me, or they would like message me and be like, thank you so much for bringing us along on this journey with you. It's so cool what you're doing. And then I even have like little kids, like, uh, I have this little 7-year-old who messages me from her mom's phone from time to time saying, hi, Goldie. Where are you going next? I saw your story and I saw you were in New York, or I saw you were in LA. And she's so excited. And at that time I had realized, like, I've been put in this position, and I didn't ask to be put in this position, but I'm in this position to be a role model. And and I'm so thankful that I had lived that whole part of my life, my crazy life, before or during when I was going through school for cosmetology. Oh no, before actually. So I've been sober for almost 15 years now. And I think it's about 15 years, something like that. And during that time of my life too, like, I guess I'll talk a little bit about that. My partner at the time, he was in a heavy metal band. And that was just the life, that was just the life we lived. We party hard. We would like party until the sun came up, down, and then it came up. And we traveled, and I toured around with him a lot. And I was like the merch girl, and I would like make sure that we would have t-shirts and stickers. I would even put on metal shows, help him put on metal shows in Gallup. And it was a great time, but there was just destruction everywhere. There were like family members that I had, our relationships were just, it was broken. And I had to finally, or we both had to finally realize, like, okay, we need to cut this out. We need to start living better. And there was even a time where I just felt like everything was broken. Everything was just so everything was going wrong. And I felt like I didn't have anything to show for it in my life. And this was before I went to school for cosmetology, which was also another reason why I was just like, forget it, I'm going to go to school for cosmetology. Um, I was unhealthy. I was like almost, I think I was over 200 pounds, and I'm only like 5'2". I think I was like 215 pounds, something like that. And that's not a healthy weight for someone my age and my height. And I remember I just had like this regular checkup at the hospital, and they told me, okay, well, you're on the verge of becoming obese. And if you don't change your eating habits, you could become a diabetic. And they all of these health issues that they had talked to me about, and everything just, I remember like I could not hear anything anymore. And I just broke down and I started crying in the exam room. And the lady, like, she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what to do. And she was like, have you ever spoke to a therapist? I'm like, no, I have not spoken to a therapist. I'm having a moment here, please. um, and I'm like, I'm not gonna see a therapist. It's just like everything in my life at this time is just so trashed. And this is like the cherry on top of everything that's going on in my life that's bad. And I just thought, okay. And I just chilled out, and I just told her, thank you, goodbye. And at that time was when I finally realized, okay, there needs to be a change here. We need to start living better. We need to start eating healthier. And we did that. We helped each other become sober throughout the years. But of course, it was each one of our own journeys to go through to live that healthy lifestyle. And when that little girl would reach out to me, I would think to myself, I am so thankful that I don't drink, that I don't smoke, that I don't, put it out there on social media that I do all of these things and I'm partying out and I'm drunk or whatever. Because if she were to see that, she would have a different, like, this is cool, Goldie's out there in New York and she's drunk, that's the life to live. And I just thought, like, I'm so happy that, I'm having good fun. I'm having good fun being sober and showing, not knowing, but showing people that it's it is it's possible. It's possible to live in a small town, come from the res, being a little Navajo girl and not being afraid to go out there by yourself and travel and do what you love, because I'm doing it. And that's just, if I can inspire one person, I feel like everything is, it's good. I feel like everything that I've done has been accomplished, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it that I've inspired one person. And that's what I strive to do, is I just strive to let people know, because there's always that mentality of like, I hate the res, I hate Gallup, I want to get out of here. There's that mentality. And I feel like that's toxic, because we're from here. This is who we are. Our grandparents, our ancestors are here. And this is the land that we live on. And this is the land that they help preserve for us to be here, to survive, to live, to feel connected to. So when a person decides, like, I hate this, I want to get out of here, I feel like that connection, there's not the connection anymore. And I just want to show people that, I have had the opportunities to live in New York, to live in LA, and, do what I'm doing. And I would get tons more work, yes. But I don't want to, because this is my home. This is my community. These are my people. These are the people that I want to be around. These are the people that I want to take care of. And I feel like if you are not invested in the community, then that's when that that connection is no longer there. If you're not invested in your family, you're not invested in your community, that's when you start to feel the hate for your community, for your home, where you're from, where you live. And if it means you go away and then come back and appreciate that, awesome. But I feel like, you know, this is our home, and this is, for me, that's what it is. I love my family. I'm always, you know, I have like 20 different group chats in my phone with my family, and we message each other. And it's not just on my mom's side. I also have group text messages with my cousins on my dad's side. And that's who I am. Like, I'm just, I wish that there were more people like me, because if there was, we would be like in a totally different space. And I pray for, you know, support, encouragement, and love, that I'm able to receive that, and I'm able to give that also to people. And as I was saying with this studio, I want to be able to create a space where people can come and be happy and feel accepted and feel loved and feel um, just comfortable in this space. And just last week, I had this girl, she sells tea, and she comes in from time to time to sell her tea. And her tea is good. Like, it's Navajo tea. It's like infused with berries and peaches and nutmeg and cinnamon. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. So I asked her, where are you located at? And she said, oh, I just sell out of my car. So I was like, what would you like to set up here and sell? And she was like, yeah. So I had her set up here, and she sold. And that's what I mean. Like, I just don't want this a place to be a salon. I want it to be a place where people can come and grow, because I didn't have that. I didn't have the support of my peers being in cosmetology or in salons. Because every salon, like I said, that I was in, I was always bullied, or somebody was always mad because I had created opportunities for myself to go out and travel. And so I didn't have that. I didn't have the support. The only one person that really supported me and that really helped me, her name was Tiffany. And she helped me understand um, salon life, who not to talk to, who not to talk around or have personal conversations with. She told me who not to. And then even like the customers too, like if there were customers that came in, she'd like, okay, don't take that one. You don't want that drama. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then she helped me formulate with the colors. I had never worked with matrix color before. And she helped me formulate, and she helped me understand the line of color. And then she also helped me with like the different salon equipment that was in there, because all the other salons I had worked in didn't have that salon equipment. So she helped me with that as well. And I'm so thankful for her. And I reached out to her one day, and I just told her, thank you so much for your help. You really encouraged me to be a better stylist, because you helping me and helping me formulate made me feel confident that I could do my job. And so that was, and she was just like, of course, you know. And I don't know if she knows how much it meant to me or how much it means to me, but she was just like, of course, you're welcome. But I need to see her again, and I need to tell her, like, really, thank you. Because that love and that support, that and encouragement that she gave me, it really gave me the confidence to know how to work with these colors, to work in the salon around these people, and even with the customers. And she didn't know that she was doing that. She was my friend. And that's what I want to create here too at Goldie Studio, is I want to be able to bring in stylists who have no experience at all and help them from, you know, being a baby stylist to being an elite master stylist. And if this is just their stepping stone to get to where they want to be, badass. That's what I want. I want to be able to create that space where people can come in and get to that next level. And uh, with me being a business owner now, it's crazy. Sometimes I can't believe it until the bills start coming in. No, just kidding. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to pay bills. I'm a business owner. Even that too is another, I feel like another miracle story. Um, Getting into Change Labs, I heard about it um, through my friend Crystal Dugai. She's an artist, and she went through Change Labs also. And I would see that she would post stuff or reshare stuff about Change Labs, and I thought, what is this? So I looked into it, and then I had a friend who also sent me over information for Change Labs because, um, of course, I'm like wanting to create a business and I guess launch my business. And so I applied for it. I just went online, applied for it. And then the questions that they have for you is they ask you your financial projections, like how much would it cost to actually open up, a business, this business that you're wanting to get into. So I had to do a whole bunch of research. And then as far as the construction part of it, I had no idea. Like I knew like equipment, all of that, what you need to do, getting your stations, how much would stations cost, how much would sinks cost. But I didn't know anything about plumbing. I didn't know anything about electricity, about just the construction part of it, having an actual building and knowing how much that costs. But we have a friend, his name is David. And my partner said, why don't we go visit David? Maybe he can let you know like how much it's going to cost to open up a business construction wise. So I was like, okay, cool. So we went to go visit him. And this man is a business owner. He's a construction business owner. And he's always busy. And he's always got, somebody in his office. He's always in a meeting or he's always on the phone, always busy. So we got there, but he was not busy at all. And he just had enough time to talk to us. And I had asked him, well, I told him the whole story of like Change Labs and how much would it cost. And already off the top of his head, he knew how much it would cost. And I was like, cool, okay. So I wrote that down. I'm like, that's all the questions I had for you. And so he asked me, well, are you looking to getting a salon sometime? And I was like, yeah, I'm like somewhere in my lifetime, I do want to have a salon. I want to be able to, have my own salon and run my own salon. And so he says, well, I know somebody who is selling their salon. I was like, really? Okay. He's like, well, let me call her right now. He says, let me call her and find out. And he got on the phone and he called Bernadette. And when he called her, she answers the phone and we could hear her. And she says, yes, David. And I thought to myself, this lady is cool. And I had never even met her. I love her already. And then he laughs and then he says, are you still selling your business? And she says, yes. And so he says, well, I have a couple here, really nice couple. They're looking into buying. And then she said, okay. So he sent us down here and we met her for the first time. And already it was like, we were like 90% in. I was 90% in, but my partner was like 100% in. And the only reason why I was only like 10 or 90% in was just because I felt like, oh my gosh, there's so much work to be done. I don't know. I guess I thought like I was going to find a salon that was going to be already done and made and exactly the way I wanted it. And all I had to do was just move in. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to put the work in. So we negotiated, we talked, and then a couple weeks later, I have a salon, and Bernadette and her stylists that are here. There's Bernadette, Annie, and Vincent. And they all have been doing hair longer than I've been alive. And they have this joke. They say they've been doing hair for 100 years and they're awesome. I think, yes, that's my life. That's what I want. I want to be a stylist who does hair for 100 years and take care of my clients. And she said, I still want to do hair. I still want to work. I just don't want the business anymore. I don't want to, deal with the business part of it. So she said, can we still work? I'm like, of course, so I have a salon and I have stylists, and it's awesome. And these are the things, guys, that I have prayed for. I prayed for these things. I had asked God, I want a salon. I want to be able to have a salon where it's still running and I'm not there because I travel. I love traveling. I love doing work outside of um here, out, being in New York and LA, Miami. I love being out and traveling, but I'd still want it to be able to run on its own while I'm gone. And I have that. And it's just so amazing that everything that I have prayed for, everything that's in my heart, God has given to me. And I am just so thankful for it. And I just can't waste it. I can't waste this talent, this love that I have for it. And that's why I want so much to work with people, to help people, to support people and encourage people, because that's what we need. We need people like that to give us the encouragement, to give us the confidence to know that we can do something amazing with our lives, with, you know, things that we've been blessed with, the skills that we have. And it's been an amazing journey so far. There's just so many things I've had to overcome to get to where I am. And just like anybody else, you have your own stories, you have your own struggles, your own obstacles that you have to overcome to get to where you are. And there's no timeline. I felt like for the longest time, like, oh, I'm older, I've been out of school for this many years and I have nothing to show for. And at that time I was sad, and I was like angry at myself because I just felt like I didn't choose the right path. But there's no timeline. There's really no timeline, because there are people out there who have started their lives and who have become millionaires at the age of 40. So for example, Vera Wang. Vera Wang was 40 years old before she decided to create this amazing brand that she has. And I'm not even 40. And I feel like I started late. And I'm like crying, like, I'm so old. At 22 years old, crying, just saying I'm so old. uh, and now I think back at it and I'm just like, oh gosh, what a stupid girl. But Vera Wang was 40 years old when she finally decided to become a designer, to start her line. And now her line is worth billions of dollars. She's an amazing artist, fashion designer. She makes tons of products, and her stuff is bougie. It's expensive and it's luxurious and it's amazing. And that's what I want to do for our Native people. I want to be able to have a salon in Gallup where it's bougie, it's luxurious, it's a place where you feel like you're not in Gallup anymore. You're like in Paris, getting your hair done, eating macaroons and drinking tea. And that's what I want to create. That's what I want to be able to create. I'm not at that point just yet, but that's what I'm striving for. And I'm also striving to get people in here. I want to become a full service salon. I want to have a nail tech, a lash tech, an eyebrow tech, a massage therapist, and I want like one other stylist, because we have one other chair that's open. So I just want to become a full service salon. And once I reach that point, I just, it's going to be awesome. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. And thank you guys so much for being here. And as I had said before, this happens the way it's supposed to happen. Everybody's here because you need to hear this. You know, it's something that has aligned for you guys to be here, to hear my story, to get, hopefully you have encouragement. Hopefully you feel like, yes, you know, I can do this. And another thing that people do to themselves too, and I used to do this to myself, is I used to think like, oh my gosh, you know, what if I come out with something and then someone's going to copy it? You know, that's a real fear, because there are tons of people out there who steal other people's ideas and make it their own. Um, Forget that. Don't worry about people stealing something from you and making it theirs, because it'll never be yours. It'll never be as amazing as it is, because you're the one who created it. You put your own touch on it. You put your own energy and your love into what you're creating. And whoever copied you, they're never going to have that same love. They're never going to have that same creativity and passion that you have for creating that one thing. And that's how I used to think too. Like I used to think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to come out with this idea and someone's going to steal it from me and they're going to make it better. But no, you're the one who came up with that. You're going to make it to the best that you want it to be. And yeah, there's competition out there. I do have other stylists in my town, elsewhere. There is that competition, but I don't see them as competition. I see them as my peers. I see them as people that I want to support, that I want to help, that I want to give a space to as well too. And we have to be like that, because if we're not, there's no growth. You are hindering your growth by being mad, by being scared, by being jealous, by being unsupportive. You're hindering your growth as a person and as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, as an artist. You have to be accepting of all people and caring and loving and supportive of everybody else out there, because we need it. In this day and age, we need to be supportive, loving, encouraging, and caring of one another, because we're in a crazy time. We're in a crazy time. You watch the news. I know it's fake news, but it's still news. But yeah, we're living in a crazy time. But thank you guys so much. I think I've covered most of my career and things I've overcome, I think. But I think what I'll do now is I'll go to questions. So I believe like this is done at 1:00, or maybe if anybody has any questions, I can't scroll on the questions.
So earlier we had, they're mostly comments of celebration for you. Pay Paris says, OMG, I want to work with you.
Let's do it. Contact me.
Christine Laughter says, you are truly an inspiration, Goldie. Thank you for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Christine.
Vina Bigay Sosi says, you are awesome, Goldie. Glad I got to attend the Zoom. Can I be your receptionist at your salon?
Yeah, I promise that it's not going to be a job you'll hate.
And then we had Tim Deal. Thanks for sharing your personal journey through your hardships and now your success. Amazing work and journey you're on. I love what you do. That's great.
Hey, thanks, Tim.
We have April Tinhorn. Says, the train noises remind me of home.
Yeah. It's funny.
And then we have Jerry. Jerry says, thank you for sharing your story with us. And I like that you have always envisioned what you wanted to be. Now you are living your dreams and using your talent. I appreciate you sharing this with us.
Thank you, Jerry.
And then we have Pay Parrish again. She says she's happy for you. Mina Begay says, God bless you, Goldie. Thank you. I enjoyed your life story. Delphina Begay says, wonderful story of your success. Best of luck to your empire.
Hey, that's what I say. When people are like, are you busy? I'm like, yes, I'm busy building an empire.
Exactly. Then we have Lindsay Benali. She says, "Thank you. I needed to hear that."
Yay, I'm glad.
And then Paige asking for contact info.
Will we have that somewhere?
I can type it up into the chat box here.
Okay.
Miranda says, "I just hopped on. I was on Phoenix time." She missed most of her story. Don't worry, Miranda. We have this recorded and we'll be posting this to our YouTube channel, on Change Labs YouTube channel. Cecilia So says, "Beautiful. Thank you, Goldie." And then Miranda Murphy says, "I graduated from cosmetology school in 2016, but I never got my license. Is there a time frame where I have to get the license before I lose my hours?"
I believe there is. I'm not too sure about that, but I do know that some of my friends who have gone through Cosmo School, it's funny because a lot of them got pregnant and they had to drop out. But I believe some of them were able to go back and still regain their hours. And but I don't. 2016 is it's a long time, so I'm not too sure about that. You would probably have to call the school and find out. I would say call the cosmetology department and speak with one of the cosmetology instructors and ask them.
All right. Then we have Jerry. How to deal with naysayers, like the relative who laughed about your dreams.
Ooh, okay. Were you just sending it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
20.
the naysayers. Okay. So as I was saying, that your words have power. If you feed into the naysayers, if you feed into people, talking about you, or I think that you're giving them power. You take that power away by not engaging into their negativity. You shut it down by just not talking, or you shut it down even more and make them feel like you make them even more mad by saying, "Oh, thank you for that. Thank you so much for your support," even though it was like a negative comment. And you just basically, you kill them with kindness, just like, as it Selena Gomez said, kill them with kindness. I don't know. To me, a long time ago, it used to really hurt me, and it used to really make me feel bad that people would talk about me and say things. Because when I was training for powerlifting competitions, I got really strong. I was like 130 pounds, benching 285 pounds, and I was squatting like 400 pounds, close to 400 pounds, and I was deadlifting close to 400 pounds. And the negative things that people would say, like, "You're gonna look like a man," or "Women don't lift," they would say stuff like that to me, and it used to make me feel really bad and make me feel sad and make me feel bad about myself. And there's just I don't know where it was, but like there was a point in my life where I just felt like I don't need it. I don't need to, feed into this. I don't need them to make me feel, I don't need validation to make me feel better about myself, or to make you just shut it down by not letting it. You create a home in your mind where it stays. And if you do that, it will continue to dig a hole deeper and deeper into your mind, into your body, into your spirit. And I feel like if you just don't even engage, it has no power. And you just take that power away from it. And I don't know. Now I don't really have a hard time with people like that anymore, because I've had times where I've I've had even friends, like I even had friends who just basically stab me in the back. I've had friends that I've tried to go into business with, and it didn't work out, and it used to make me sad. It used to make me angry. But I got to the point where it's like, all right, whatever, this is my journey. I'm just going to have to do this on my own. And if people want to come along for the journey, that's their decision. And if they want to, cool. And if they just want to use, if they just want to use this as a stepping stool to get to the next level, cool. You know, I'm a part of their journey. And if they say that I am or I'm not, it's okay. It's okay. You just let it go. I know it's hard to like fathom and to think about it. It's like you just let it go. I mean, you get mature. It's like you don't have time. You don't have time. I don't have time because building an empire. You just have to think that way. Have that mindset of like, oh well, whatever, it's fine. You know, just not let it bother you. I think. I don't know. I hope that makes sense.
All right. And we actually have April's hand up. April, you have a question for Goldie?
Oh, okay.
Hi, Goldie.
Hi.
Thank you for sharing your story. And I have a comment and a question. First would be, I really picked up on your way and thinking of like abundance versus scarcity. That's what I heard a lot during your story. Is kind of like there's what's meant for me is meant for me, and what's meant for you is meant for you. And your success doesn't take away from mine, because to me, there's plenty out there for all of
Oh,
us.
yeah.
So definitely that's we're swimming in the same streams that way. So that's cool to hear another Native woman entrepreneur speak in this way. My question would be, after sitting here and listening to your story, what would be the one thing you would want us as business owners to take away from your story?
I think the one thing to take away is to not be afraid to fail, because I've had many failures in my career. This is about this this is titled bootstrapping, you know, because that's what we do as businesses and entrepreneurs is we bootstrap, you know. We have to go out there, we have to do the work. Nobody's going to do it for us. And there is no timeline. Like I was saying, there is no timeline to your success, because you can become a millionaire like at 40 or 60, or, you know, there is no timeline. And, you know, there's a lot of people focusing on the youth, but people don't focus on the people who are beyond youth, you know, the mature people. They don't think about those people too. They still have hopes and dreams of what they wanted to do with their lives, or what, but because life hit them, they become single parents, or they become parents at a really young age. You know, that time has passed them by and they just feel like, you know, my youth is gone. No, it's not, because there is no timeline. You can decide that you want to become a business owner at the age of 50 and make it happen and make it work. But I feel like as business owners and people who are entrepreneurs and artists, you know, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to get out there and do it. Because like I said, you know, what's the worst that they can say? No, that's it. That's all they're going to say. But it's like, okay, well, you know, you can have like 5,000 no's, but you can have that one yes. And that one yes can be the stepping stone to the empire that you're going to build. And just never be discouraged, always keep striving. And there will always be a time where you feel like you're in it by yourself. Even your family members are not going to understand where you are at your life and how much passion and love and just creativity you have for what you want to do. They're never going to understand that, because it's only within you, and you can only understand how you feel. And just don't let people, you know, dull your sparkle.
Well, thank you, Goldie. I just wanted to extend to you an invitation. I know you said you're in Gallup, but if you're ever looking for inroads into the Phoenix area, my business is down there, and we're a marketing and training company. So just let's connect on social, and just know that you have an ally over here too. So.
Yes, girl. If you could put your info in the chat, and I'll write that down.
Okay.
All right, next.
All right. We have about 10 minutes. So Regina Gonzalez says, not exactly a question, just encouragement. As an old woman LOL. I'm so proud of you. Never stop dreaming, and it's been great to have met you and your partner. You both are influential young people. I know I need to get back to in your chair for some hair TLC.
Yay.
And then we have Leah T or Leia. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Says, hi, Miss Golden One. Heart emoji. I always admired you since the first time I met you at Western Navajo Fair 2019, working at the fashion show with you. I hope to work with you again. Much love and respect to you always.
Oh.
And then Brandy Rose says, you are such an inspiration, Goldie. Your journey path has been beautiful, narrow and wide. I am excited for the rest of your career and your empire. And then Leah again. My one question would be, how can I be more confident in my work as a makeup artist? I feel like with my lack of experience, I'm always the oddball in any event I work. I admire your confidence at every event you go to.
So the way I started was a lot of free work. It's kind of frustrating, but you do have to be in that position to be able to volunteer your work, your time, but also pick and choose what you want to do too. Like if it's going to be a good event, I think like, okay, like Navajo Nation fairs, yeah, they're good, but they're not good exposure, to be completely honest. And I don't necessarily work Navajo Nation fair fashion shows anymore, because a fashion show is supposed to be a place where everyone is showcasing their work. The fashion designer showcasing their work as a fashion designer so that they can get into different fashion houses. And there are people there who are in that, in the crowd, who are looking to invest into these fashion designers. That's what a fashion show is. The models are there to also showcase themselves as a model, that they can be this canvas that you can make up to make something beautiful on, and then they showcase your work. And then the makeup artist, same way too, like your work is on the runway as well too. But like with all these native fashion shows that are around here, they don't invite fashion houses, they don't invite investors, it's just like, it's just a fashion show. It's a show, they're putting on a show. And I feel like if you're going to get into, exposing yourself and putting yourself out there, find events that will help you launch yourself as an artist. And even if it means reaching out to me and we can do something together, let's do it. Okay. Because I want to help you. I know like in this day and age now, like you don't necessarily have to have a certificate or a license to be a makeup artist, but to me, I feel like education is 100% because I put myself through school. Well, not just myself, but my partner helped me as well. But I think education is a big part too. Like if you can get into like extended or what do they call it? Continued education classes, that can really help you too, because then that can give you a different idea of what you can do with your skill as a makeup artist. But yeah, we live in a day and age where it's like, people don't necessarily have to go to school to become whatever. Well, I would think you would still need to be to go to school to become a cosmetologist because you're working with chemicals. But continued education classes are a perfect way to network with different people and to find out, what's trending, what's out there as far as products go. But yeah, if you want to reach out to me and then just let me know. I think I know who you are, but I can't quite put my finger on it, but just message me and let me know it's you.
And that was Leah T, just so you know, Goldie.
Okay.
Next, we have Brandy Rose. She says, I too knew that I had to create with my hands, had a sense of different fashion, and wanted to make hearts smile since childhood. My Nelly lady showed me how to sew, weave, and make necklaces in her cozy kitchen, using a kerosene lamp as light and wood-burning fireplace for heat. You're right, I cannot see myself moving away from home. Great point you made about that. And then last one we have, April has her information there if anyone wants to reach out to April and her services. And then we have Sheila Begay. At what point do you cut back on volunteering and start charging for your service?
Ooh, good question. Okay, so I did a lot of volunteering, probably like the first 3 years of my of being a cosmetologist and a makeup artist. I think at that point too, I had like a pretty good clientele. I feel like once you have a clientele and you work with certain people all the time, um, then that's when you just, I think you'll know when you are done. Like I'm done doing volunteer work. I'm just done. But then there are some people who have been in this industry for, okay, so like for example, there's this makeup artist that I know. She she has the money. She has the money to do it. Um, it's actually her husband's money. No, just kidding. But she has money to do this and to volunteer her time and her work and all of this stuff. She has the money to do it. So she does it all the time. And she's been doing it for, I think, like 10 years now, or maybe even more. But it's up to you. It's up to you when you want to cut that out, when you don't want to do volunteer work anymore. And I say too, the other thing is work with people who know your worth, who know what you're worth, who are, and the people who know what you're worth, they will value you and they will tell you, like, I want to get you paid. Let's get you paid. You know, how can we figure out a way where we can get you paid? And in this time too, it's so frustrating that in the native fashion world, even okay, so I've worked with like the fashion designers who are just starting out, and then the fashion designers who are like way out there, who have had their work in Vogue and Marie Claire and all these different like fashion magazines, and they're very well known. Some of them don't pay you. There is, I have worked with, you know, people who still ask me to volunteer my time. And it's sad because it's like, we should be beyond that. We should be beyond asking people to volunteer their time, because you have to have money to get to where you're needing to go. And it's frustrating to me how it's like people say, support native, native supporting native, artists supporting artists, but let's work together and let's can you like volunteer your time? That's not supporting one another. That's really not supporting one another, especially if you're asking them to do a show for you and you're not going to pay them. That's BS to me, I think. I feel like we should be able to help one another out. And even if we're both not getting paid, at least it's a collaboration that we understand that this is something that we're doing together to get to another point where we can both get paid. I feel like everybody should be transparent. It shouldn't be a question of like, oh, I'm afraid to ask if I'm going to get paid. I'm afraid to ask if I'm going to get compensated. Because I work with people like that too. I have a friend, she's a fashion designer, and she's just coming up. And I told her, okay, be careful of this person because I know you're going to work with them. Make sure you ask them if they're going to compensate you. If they're not, you need to ask them if they can work with you at a different time and give you this. And so she was really scared. And it's sad that we're scared to ask if we're going to get paid. We shouldn't be scared to get to ask, like, am I going to get paid for this? Because it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the feeling of getting denied or blackballed or whatever, but don't be afraid of that. Like, you should know your worth. You should know that in this day and age, like, everybody should get paid. Everybody should get some type of compensation, even if it's not monetary. It should be a good opportunity where it's going to help you get seen on another level, not just like here, but like here. So I think you'll know when you're going to decide, like, okay, I'm done volunteering. I can't do this anymore. I need to start charging. And the people that are going to pay you, those are the people that you're going to know that are supportive and encouraging of your, and they know your worth. So it'll come. It will come.
And then last question before we end our session here. We have Jerry with Kangiba with a question. She says, do you separate personal and business social media pages? I'm very private with my children and family activities. Currently, I only have my personal page, but ready to launch my business in spring of 2023.
No, I don't. I don't separate my personal and my business. Reason being because I feel like Well, Raquel was asking me if I was going to if I had like a PowerPoint or if I'm going to share anything on my screen. I didn't want it to be like that because I feel like, this is organically happening. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm not speaking from like a PowerPoint or, this is the only PowerPoint that I have right here. Look at everybody. This is my PowerPoint. So I just want to be an open book for people. I think if I do eventually have kids, I probably want to separate that because I don't want to put them out there because they don't have a voice where it's like, yes, I want to be on social media, or no, I don't want to be on social media. I probably would, but I don't have kids. So it's different for me, but I'd like to share my life with people. I like to let people know, what I'm going through, or, and I don't necessarily share a whole lot about my own personal family. I don't, but like some people do know, but I don't separate it. But I think that I probably should, as far as like the business goes, like the actual studio, I think that I probably should, but I think it's personal preference. If like you decide that you want to separate your personal from your business, you definitely can. And that's definitely an option for you. Oh, and everybody knows my partner. A quick plug on my partner. His name is Lauren Anthony, and he runs an organization, nonprofit called Chiz for Che, and he's based out of Gallup, Mexico as well. And what Chiz for Che is he hauls free firewood for elders, at-risk elders on the reservation, all over the reservation. And he's also an actor. He's also becoming a talent management. And that's why we're doing like auditions here. So people who have been getting auditions for Dark Winds, that's like one of the things that's hot right now. We're helping people do auditions for Dark Winds here at the studio. So there's so many more things that he does. And he calls himself the Navajo Forest Gump because he does so many things. But that's my partner. And we're not very secretive about our relationship, and neither am I. So that's not necessarily something personal that I feel like I should hide.
All right, and then just the last couple of comments here, and then we do have one more question. Mary, she says, thank you for sharing your story and sharing your challenges. Your positive energy is awesome. And then Vina says, thank you once again, Goldie. I sure like to meet you in person one day. And then last question, Miranda says, how do we schedule hair appointments with you?
So you can, a lot of times I feel like people can reach out to me on Instagram. I think that's really a good thing that people can reach out to me on. I'm pretty present on Instagram. And I know people ask me like, how do you make appointments? I eventually want to be able to create a website where you can go online and schedule appointments with me. But right now I don't necessarily have that. So I'm still accepting appointments through my personal social media or my personal cell phone. And then we can figure out like what hair services you're going to get or what services you're going to get and go from there. So you can just reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook. Oh, there it is. Yeah, she put it down. So I'm at Miss Golden One on Instagram, and then Goldie Tom on Facebook. So you can reach out to me to those different places. But I am on Google Maps and I am on Apple Maps. So you can just Google me and you'll find my location. And then there's also a phone number on there as well too that you can call.
All right. I think that's the last of our session. Thank you, Goldie. I'm going to share my screen one more time just to go over the last bit of information I have. Is it showing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Goldie, for sharing here, sharing your story and all of your knowledge with us. It was a really great conversation. I enjoyed it. And for our audience members, thank you for being here as well and all your questions and your participation. If you missed any part of Goldie's presentation, the session is being recorded. So it'll be posted to ChangeLab YouTube channel very soon. And if you missed any part of my presentation at the beginning of the session and are interested in any services we offer, feel free to reach out to me. My email is right here at Raquel@nativestartup.org. Sorry, my screen's on that side too. Just making sure. And then last thing is, before we sign off, we have another workshop coming up. It is posted to our Facebook and our website right now on Wednesday, November 16th at 11:30 Mountain Time, where we'll be off daylight savings time by then. We have three of the ASU law students, Gabriella Berrigan, Leah Dulso, and then Trevor Wagner, sharing information about intellectual property. We'll be learning about the laws and how we as entrepreneurs and business owners can utilize those laws to protect our intellectual properties. And then we do have the registration link up. It's at nativestartup.org/events. And that is all I have for today. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you all have a good day, and we'll see you hopefully in a couple of weeks again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Change Labs. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, everybody at Change Labs. And thank you, everybody here. Appreciate you all.